The Wellsford Forest occurs just to the northeast of Bendigo in central Victoria. Despite many years of advocacy from local community environmental groups to make the forest a national park, the area remains a state forest with little protection.
The value of the Wellsford is basically its remarkable survival and the biodiversity that you can find in some of the parts of the forest. It's quite a varied forest and covers quite a decent size of land to the northeast of Bendigo. Some parts are very dry with very spindly trees, and others have some larger trees like the one behind. There was a time during the gold rush era where most of the trees were cut down and burned or used for sleepers. So there's a lot of regrowth of very spindly trees and a shortage of trees with big hollows and multiple hollows. We call them habitat trees because there's over 200 unique Australian animals that rely on hollows in trees, whether they be alive or dead trees, for their homes and in order for them to be able to breed. So it's really important that we value these trees with hollows, like the one behind me. And there's a number of large hollow trees scattered through the Wellsford that we really want to protect.
The reason why the Wellsford is so special is because it sits on a fractured landscape and it covers quite a large area. It's quite long. It runs from the Bendigo Creek to the Campaspe River and helps with the linkages that is missing in the landscape. I'm a beekeeper. My family's been in bees for well over 100 years. And this is one of the great nectar forests of the world, one of the greatest in Australia. So the amount of nectar available in the Wellsford Forest is enormous. The migrating honeyeaters that are moving across the Australian landscape, because nectar isn't every year in eucalypts, can find 7 to 10 months home here with tons of nectar, plenty of nectar. One species following another species.
So in spring 2024, I was lucky enough to conduct a flora survey throughout the Wellsford Forest and was really blown away by the diversity and the incredible kind of ecosystems that I found throughout the forest. Found over 12 species that are listed as threatened in Victoria. These include some that are really rare across central Victoria, not found in many other places at all. There was a beautiful Dookie daisy, which is mostly found further northeast in Victoria, up in around the Dookie area. But there's this one population only in the Wellsford Forest, so you can't see this species anywhere else in the Bendigo area. There was a whole range of threatened orchid species that were found, quite a few different wattle species. Really incredible the amount of different variety of flora throughout the forest, and incredible diversity of ecosystems and vegetation types as well. There is a type of vegetation community in the Wellsford that is completely unique to this area, so it's endemic. It occurs, it's a kind of heathy woodland that we get on these kind of sand deposits, and these are actually sand deposits from a time when there was an ancient sea many millions of years ago. About 5 million years ago, we had a sea come into parts of Victoria to the west, and it left these kind of stranded areas of beach deposits along its eastern shore, and that actually came right up to the edge of Bendigo. And so most of these deposits are mostly found around the Kerrang area in Victoria, but we have these areas of sandy, what we call Loxton sand, in the Wellsford. So you'd be going through Box Ironbark Forest and then you come across this incredible sandy area, this sandy rise, and it'll have completely unique vegetation. It's got a kind of heathy woodland that's really rich in peas and wattles and lilies and orchids, so incredible diversity. And as I said, it's completely unique to this area, so you're not going to be able to find that anywhere else, even in the Box Ironbark system. There's incredible areas of grey box and white box grassy woodland throughout the Wellsford. So not only is it so important for protecting the box ironbark, but it has these beautiful box woodlands which have otherwise been really heavily cleared for agriculture, for grazing, and you don't find a lot of it in the reserve system anymore because it's quite productive and fertile country. But around the edges of the forest, in the kind of fertile plains on the kind of margins of parts of the Wellsford, have quite extensive areas of these box woodlands. They support very different species to the box ironbark, the drier kind of yellow gum and red ironbark forest. And really, once again, just so important to have them in the reserve system.
I just love the Wellsford Forest. It's so diverse. You can go to the sandy areas with the twisty red boxes and orchids and lovely undergrowth, purples and blues. And then you can go into the ironbark areas where they're tall and brooding sometimes. But when they get the yellow wattle underneath, just magnificent. And then you can go into the yellow gum areas. Of course, some of these are mixed quite often. There's all three, but sometimes there'll just be some yellow gums, and underneath them the Illyria daisy in spring with the gold dust wattle. It's just a magnificent display. I think it's so underrated. People came here instead of Western Australia, they'd be surprised.
What our group wants to do is to bring about better protections for the Wellsford, for the larger part of the Wellsford. We really would love it protected from more habitat destruction. We want it protected from regular burns because that seems to be reducing the biodiversity of the forest. We want it protected from extra roads and tracks being put in. And we want it to be protected so that the creatures that live here can continue to enjoy living here, so that the whole forest can recover over time.